This is A Better Way Financial, the podcast with financial advisors and father-son team Frank and Frankie Guida.
And I'm Heather Branch here with Frank and Frankie to ask for their ideas on ways that you can better prepare for your financial future. ABetterWayFinancial.com is where you can begin your own conversation about your retirement savings plan. We also have links posted in the show notes, so you can just click there, or again, go to ABetterWayFinancial.com. Working to reduce the taxes we have to pay in retirement is just one of the many things that we, all retirees, all consumers, need to be aware of when it comes to our finances. Another thing we need to be very aware of that most people just have no idea is the fees that are involved in our savings plan. You there listening to the radio, if you've got a 401k with your company and you think that that's all being done for free, you are lying to yourself. There are fees everywhere. So another conversation that's happening around the idea of junk fees, the government is actually working to reduce the junk fees that are happening to students, guys. Right now, colleges, they actually can include fees for books and supplies under the label of tuition and fees, even if students are able to go and find materials at cheaper prices from other sources. It is maddening. And it is even more maddening to discover once you have left college and you've been working hard for years, all the fees that are still being put upon you, even unbeknownst to you. Thinking about these junk fees, they are often littered throughout retirement savings accounts. So how do you help clients work to uncover and avoid these fees in an effort to keep portfolios more efficient?
You know, Heather, most people really don't have a good idea of what they're paying in fees. You know, they'll look at statements and they'll see some fees there, and they'll think, okay, that's what I'm paying. Many of them don't realize is that a lot of these investments have internal fees that aren't like there for you to see. I mean, You'd have to go read the prospectus. How many people read the prospectus? So it's very difficult for people to, see exactly what they're paying. At A Better Way Financial, we have the tools to figure out how much people are paying in fees. And it's not too often that we actually sit there and show people what they're paying in fees that they're not totally astonished. If you're looking at, $1 million portfolio, and you look at all the internal fees and you come up with a figure like 3%. Well, 3%, what's 3%? Yeah. $30,000.
It's a lot of money that you're paying every single year.
Now, if you're paying, just think about it. If you're paying $30,000 for something a year, don't you think you should at least know that you're doing that?
Yep.
I mean, come on, you got to know that. Yep. And that's what we have the ability to do. We have the tools, the financial tools to figure it out, because while you would have to read a prospectus, we pay for the ability to go to a web page and put in the ticker symbol, and it comes back and it tells us what these fees are inside of these investments. And so it's something that we can do. So if you're paying 3% and we can wind up whittling it down to 1%, well, that's an extra $20,000 a year in your pocket. Think about what that can do for you in your retirement years. It's just an amazing, amazing difference. Mm-hmm. So, having these tools allows us to do that. And we can do that with your 401k plans, with your IRAs, with your brokerage. The worst culprit out there is the variable annuities. They tend to have the highest fees in the industry. So when we sit down with folks and we show them the difference, we say, look, this is how your portfolio is structured. This is what you're paying. This is what we can do. This is how we can restructure it. And this is how much you can save. It is amazing how the light goes off for these folks, and they see the tremendous difference. We had a couple that came in from Bethlehem, and what we showed them an astronomical amount in savings.
Yeah, so we just met with a couple who is 66 years old. They saved about $1.2 million for their retirement, and they were looking to retire later this year. And in their situation, they had 2 kids and 3 grandkids, so the family was important to them, but also they wanted to know a little bit about what they were paying in fees. Like most people, they got all these statements, but they didn't really know how much they were paying in fees until they met with us.
Okay.
And we were able to show them, this is how much you're paying in fees across all of the different accounts that you have.
Okay.
You know, one of their accounts that they had was in a variable annuity. And in this particular account, they were paying over 3% in fees per year.
Jeez.
You know, so this is a ton of money that they don't have to be paying in fees that they're paying in fees. You know, and when we lumped everything together, we looked at their entire portfolio and we said, here's our portfolio. This is what our investments look like, and this is what the cost is associated with our investments. We were able to show them that they were paying $9,700 more each year in fees with their current advisor than by working with us.
Jeez.
So not even judging the service, judging what we are able to do, judging the tax planning, the retirement planning, none of that. Just the fees on the investments alone. $9,700 less in fees by working with us. And then we said, well, what does that look like over your retirement? Because you're not just retiring this year and you know, passing away after that. We're looking over the next 20, 30 years. So over the next 20, 30 years, over the next 20 years, that's $195,000 more in their pocket than in some advisor's pocket. You know, so that's why you really need to focus on fees and make sure that you're not paying too much in fees during your retirement, because that is a lot of money, $195,000 less in your pocket because you're not being cognizant of and you don't understand the fees associated with your investments. You know, so it's so important to know what you're paying in fees and to work with someone who's not charging you that much in fees and is able to have a reasonable amount and giving you the service that you need.
Not only a reasonable amount, though, be as transparent about it. That's the big thing, is that a lot of people just have no idea. And with you guys, it's like, here is exactly what our portfolios are doing. This is the percentages here at A Better Way Financial. Nobody wants a free lunch. We're all fair and honest people here. What we want is transparency and understanding.
I agree with you, Heather. And a lot of times I'm meeting with clients and they're saying, wow, my advisor never told me his fee. Or, my advisor never showed me on a piece of paper what the fee is going to be for my accounts. You know, or, oh, I didn't know I was paying that in my 401k. A lot of times it's very hard to find out what you are paying in fees.
And
they
then
make
when
it very
you do,
difficult.
How frustrated are you? It's so frustrating.
I mean, you see that you're paying $20,000, $30,000 in fees and you're like, how did this happen? How am I paying this much in fees?
Yep.
Because you don't know. And as a consumer out there, it's very difficult to find out this information. You know, but by working with us and by letting us see what your situation is, we're able to find out, hey, this is how much you're paying in fees, and this is how much we could lower them to. Or if we have a higher fee than you're currently paying, we're going to tell you. We have a higher fee than you're currently paying, but look at all the amazing services we can provide. You know, so it's really no obligation. There's no harm in finding out what your current fee is and what your fee would be by working with us.
Right.
And you know, the main thing too is, you know, you think, okay, I'm going to pay less in fees, I'm going to get less service. It's the exact opposite here. What we're showing people is you're paying less. We're showing them how to get better returns in most instances. We're showing them how to have a portfolio that is in line with their risk tolerance, so that they're not taking on more risk than they have to.
Yeah.
We're showing how to reduce taxes in their lifetime. All of these different things, and by the time we're done showing them, you know, the amazing difference it can make, they're astonished.
And well, it goes back to the original point here, the original question: keeping our portfolio efficient. This is all part of the process.
Exactly. And in this couple's experience, by lowering that a fee, it allowed them to have their investments earn more after fees.
Nice.
And that's eating a lot of their lunch is those fees. You know, so we want to make sure that we're keeping the portfolio efficient, keeping the portfolio lean. And by doing that, we were able to nearly double the return that they were getting previously over the past 24 years.
Wow.
So that's what the difference was, a significant increase in that return. If you don't know how much you're paying in fees, now is the time to find out. Let us do the work. Let us delve into your portfolio and find out how much are you paying in fees and give you an options for what it would look like in our situation where you're working with us. How much is our fee? You want an advisor who's able to be transparent with you, able to show you what are the fees associated with your investments? What are the fees associated with your investments if you work with that advisor? You know, in this person's case, we were able to show them how they could keep nearly $200,000 of their own money because they don't have to pay that in fees, because they're paying less money in fees over the next 20 years.
Yeah.
So if you had an extra $200,000 just from savings and fees alone, you could do so much more in your retirement. You can spend more time where you want to spend it. If you don't want to be up here in the winter in Pennsylvania and you want to spend a little time down in Florida or down somewhere warm, I don't blame you. You have that opportunity now. So if you don't know how much you're paying in fees in your portfolio, if your advisor is not transparently showing you how much you're paying in fees, or if you're in a 401k and you don't see on the statement how much you're paying in fees, it's not because you're not paying fees. It's because you don't know how much you're paying in fees. Mm-hmm. What you can do to find out different options that you have is you can go to abetterwayfinancial.com and click on the sign up now button, and we can begin to delve into this conversation and look at your portfolio to show you how much you're paying in fees and show you what options you have to potentially lower the fees in your portfolio. Again, go to abetterwayfinancial.com.
Thanks for listening to A Better Way Financial, the podcast with Frank and Frankie Guida. To learn more, visit abetterwayfinancial.com and join the Guidas for the radio show, A Better Way Financial, Saturdays at noon and Sundays at 12:30 on News Radio 790 WAEB. By contacting us, we'll review aspects of your retirement portfolio to include suggestions about how best to utilize estate, tax, and retirement planning strategies and other financial services, or if changing management styles is appropriate for your specific needs and objectives. Exposure to ideas and financial vehicles discussed should not be considered investment advice or recommendations to buy or sell any financial vehicle. Past performance is not a guarantee of future results. Investments can fluctuate, and when redeemed may be worth more or less than when originally invested. A Better Way Financial is not affiliated with nor endorsed by the Social Security Administration or any other government agency. Annuity guarantees rely on the financial strength and claims paying ability of the issuing insurance company. Any client experiences discussed during this show are unique to that client, and they are not meant to imply or suggest you will experience the same results. Advisory services offered through A Better Way Financial. Insurance offered through licensed professionals at A Better Way Financial. Pennsylvania Insurance License number 301779.